Alright, what's up, Dragon Brew? Today we have a really fun card we haven't played with in a while in Doran, Besieged by Time. And this is actually really cool because you get to play a bunch of creatures that have huge backsides, and in some cases, make one big attack and the game's over. So let's look at the list and then play some games. So starting at the top, we do have a road just for some easy catch-all creature removal. A couple of Zac Fair, mostly because we do have a way to search for these, and then you can protect one of your big creatures that's making it easier for you to attack. Llanowar Elves, there should be 4 in this list. I don't know why I have 3. I need to fix that. So we'll get that before we get into the games. A couple of Scheming Silver Tongue, because it does happen to be a 1/3 and it does gain life, and that helps out a little bit. We do have some great Forest Druid, which lets us tap for mana of any color. Same thing with the Overgrown Zealot, which they're 0/4s, which fits our theme very well. A couple of Witherbloom Charm for some early, easy removal, but, you know, in a pinch, we could draw some cards. Emeritus of Abundance, because this lets us actually replay stuff from our graveyards, which is really nice, and happens to be a 3/4, so it does benefit from the rest of the things we're doing. Formidable Speaker is that card that lets us search for creatures that we want, because all of our key things tend to be creatures that we need, but does happen to be a 2/4. We are playing Maelstrom Pulse because it's a catch-all removal spell, and then we have Bedrock Tortoise that lets our creatures deal damage with their toughness instead of their power, which makes sense since we have all these bigger toughness creatures. But then Doran lets you, whenever you attack or block, you need to be clear about that, creatures get +X, +X, where X is the difference between their power and toughness. So if they're an 0/4, then they get +4, +4, as an example. And then we do have Fecund Greenshell, and we were playing Pride of the Hulkclade, but I think I'm going to cut that and get that extra Llanowar Elf in there. And somewhere along the way, we'll probably want a 3rd Silver Tongue, so I'll have to figure that out. But we'll leave it like this for now before we get into the games. But speaking of which, before we go hop into those, be sure to check out our friends over at Tales of Adventure if you're going to buy some Magic cards. Mostly because you can save 5% on everything you buy over there if you just use my code DRAGON. It's just DRAGN. You'll save some money, you'll be supporting the channel, and you get more cool stuff. But all that being said, let's go hop into the games and see if these big backsides equal big wins. With all the 1s and 2s, you can't keep hands like this. Like, we have these other cards for a reason. We got to draw into them. A tapped red land. Huh. Oh, this is probably one of those Izzet spells decks. If so, we'll just have to take our time and play through a bunch of stuff. Yep. You got it. That's 4, because, Alright. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. And we will pay the ward. Yep, you have another Color Storm Stallion. I think we want to just play Green Shell. Yeah. Alright. Stock up. Sure. You have a 4/4 horse. They could also just go land shock. We block, they get to keep their creature, we lose the green shell. So I could see that happening. They didn't have it though, so that's some good news. Love to see that. Alright. I'm actually just going to cast the Regrowth. And we're going to get back a Maelstrom Pulse. And just have that for later. Oh, a second Maelstrom Pulse. I ain't mad at that. Alright. How much damage are we taking? I'm sure it's lots many. Alright, they just said no worries. Yeah, I don't know if this was a case of we just had too much toughness or we just had blockers for their stuff. Like, I don't know what happened there, but they had so many cards and so much mana. I thought it was going to be more going down there. But maybe also they didn't have a way to protect their creature from the Maelstrom Pulse and they already knew we had it. All right, let's keep it. All right, well, we also have a Llanowar Elf, but I wish we would have gone first since we have a Witherbloom Charm now. All right, What do we have to get rid of? Whoa. Well, they're doing some type of graveyard shenanigans. Is this where we're supposed to get rid of their elf? Golly. I don't even know if I want to or not. I guess I'm gonna. Could also just get rid of the Broodheart engine. I'm gonna get rid of their Llanowar Elf and live dangerously. Though I think the right answer is probably get rid of the engine. But what I'm banking on a little bit here is being able to play 2 0-4s next turn, hoping they don't kill our Llanowar Elf, and then a big turn with Doran and just see what happens. But no clue what's about to go one way or the other here. Alright. Guess we're just going to do the thing. Be great if we could draw an untapped white land and then being able to fire with Doran, but they might also just reanimate something huge. Nope, they kept their mana for an Unholy Annex. Alright. Come on, untap white source, please. You are not it. Dang it. Alright. Fine. Are we dead? Or close to dead? And a deadly cover-up. Nope. Just an Esper Origins. Okay, that's not bad. If we could find our 06 turtle, that would help. I think that could end the game. If we found that, I'd be into it. Well, now they got some of the pieces they want in the yard. They just need another creature. Oh, no. Did they not? Oh, that's not. I thought they had the dude over there. Never mind. Alrighty. Attack, attack. Actually, we attack with everything, right? Because if they don't block Doran, they take a pile. So, sure. You can have a Llanowar Elf. I'm assuming you're blocking something of relevance. Alright, an opponent just scooped. Sweet. Ooh. Alright, we'll try, I guess. This is weird, but I'm going to leave a land up, because if they play like the 1/1 that you put counters on for auras or something, we might want to kill it with an erode. I don't know. Silver Tongue. Since that doesn't immediately die to shock, it does die. I was going to say, not Seam Rip. I was going to say Lightning Helix. But point stands. They still had removal for it. What if... Nah, I don't think I really want to use Speaker yet. I think we'll just take our time. Alright. An opponent does nothing. Well, that's very suspicious. If there were ever a thing that was going to be. And then we'll play the Speaker. Discarding a Plains. To go get Doran? Try to attack? Alright. It's concerning. That went surprisingly well. And now I'm wondering what's going on. Alright, we get some damage in at least. That's not bad. Maybe a split up? Nope, another authority. Well, this is just a big old attack, I guess. I mean... Sure, I suppose. End the turn? I mean, because if they get a sweeper now, we just protect Doran with the Zach Fair, right? Yeah, opponent's playing GG's. I kind of feel bad for him. Yeah, it's one of those ones where they were waiting on something. Maybe it was the 4th land to try to play like a Day of Judgment or something. I don't know. But their hand was obviously slower than just the 3 mana they had. Because there's a point where just like playing Authority of the consoles doesn't do much when you're being attacked for so much. But yeah, sometimes the game goes that way. Same with us just getting mana flooded sometimes. Let's keep it. Can't cast the Silver Tongue at all, but yeah. They can't all be winners, I guess. Have to take 2, unfortunately, against this super aggressive deck. Because you're always aggressive if you're playing a turn 1 Forsaken Miner. Yep, you got it. No blocks. Play an 0-4 Druid. I would love to get an untapped land so that we could play Silver Tongue and the other Druid next turn. Well, can't get rid of that with the Erode, so that's disappointing. I mean, yeah, we block what we can. No need to give up the Zac Fair just yet. Oh, we didn't get there. Darn it. That is super unfortunate. Alright. Well, kind of just is what it is. I mean, at least we have blockers, I guess. Gotta look at the positives. Corpses of the Lost, sure. You got it. We will block these. Actually, I guess we just blocked the 2 big ones. What am I doing? All right. That feels like one of the safer scenarios that could have happened. Oh, and then it's damage land. Oh boy. However, if we play the Tortoise, all right. I mean, we kind of have to. We're still risking death here, but is what it is. We can at least get 3 blocks and remove something with the Erode, potentially. So there's that. Well, now we have to get rid of the Bloodletter. So that's no good. I mean, good that we have the Erode, but not what we were looking to have to use it on, obviously. Opponent is saying pass. All right, well, we will target the Bloodletter then. That was as good a turn as we could have had. Thank you, Tortoise, for slowing the opponent down. Now the funny thing is, if we find a Doran, would we even want to cast Doran under the circumstances? Or do we just want more block? Actually, I probably need to get the Silver Tongue down is what we need to be doing. But if we Silver Tongue land Speaker and then go use that to get Doran, I think that's reasonable. And then we just have a crazy big turn next turn. Maybe get to gain some life. I'm just trying to think. They get to play a hasty thing. There's a chance they could have 2 of them. But I think that's... Yeah, we can't really risk it. We're only at 8. Dang it. Because if they have another demon or something, we just end up losing extra life. Alright, they're going to make a 6/6. Okay. Probably the safest thing that could have happened to us. So, I mean, we go down to 6. We get to attack with a Silver Tongue. Get some life. Alright, Doran. It's your time to shine, buddy. Silver Tongue. Those 2 only? Yeah, probably. Oh, actually, if I just attacked with everything, they would have had to block. Nah, I wouldn't have done enough. Never mind. Wouldn't it have mattered? We're just dead. Yeah, just block Silver Tongue and we lose. Oh, wait, no. Not true. Not true, because I can put a counter on the Silver Tongue and kill their demon. This is good. At least kind of. And we get 6 life. Okay. All right. Now we're cooking a little bit. Now we have a little bit of breathing room, which is important. Opponent has so many cards and so much mana, though. They could probably play 3 things here. By the way, if you're wondering why the damage was so much, you have Doran that gives the creature the difference. So the Silver Tongue is a 1/3, getting +2/+2. But then the Tortoise also says now you deal damage with your toughness instead of your power. So that's why it ended up being effectively a 5 power creature. All right. Okay, so we knew there was a chance they had another corpse, so we weren't too shocked. But we're at 12 now, and I think we're safe. Because the opponent now is in have to block mode, or they die. And possibly die anyway, we'll see. Because if we find a Maelstrom Pulse... Oh, opponent, what are you doing? I guess they're just giving up? I mean, I'm not sure I understand what's happening here. Actually, I don't even have to do that. I can just block and not even put the other card back in your hand. I mean, this is fine for us. All right. We're at 6. Opponents are saying GG. Nice. Woo. All right. That game genuinely was all about the Silver Tongue hitting when it did. The only difference there is the opponent maybe could have not blocked, but our life total still would have been kind of similar. They would have been a little bit lower, so it maybe doesn't make a big difference in the end, but that life gain either way is what kept us in the game. So yeah, really happy to have that combination of cards in here. Oh, we're going to keep it, but this is a hand that needs a lot of work. We'll see how far it gets. Let's see. Lana Rolf, do you make it? Do you make it? You do. Okay. Feels like I'm overcommitting to the board, but here we go anyway. No monsters showed up for us. That's disappointing. We like having some of those monsters. Okay, they didn't counter our Zac Fair. But in all reality, what are we saving? Like the Great Druid? Alright. Well, you're making us use it. Fine. And then now a sweeper. I mean, I assume this is just a control pile, and sadly all we're doing is drawing lands. Still drawing lands. Still drawing lands. Gosh dang it. That's just been our Achilles heel today. Sure, you got... Okay, the good news is likely not a sweeper incoming. Because if there were, they wouldn't have just wasted that. They would have just taken an extra point. My goodness. Did all we have was just... What was that? 4 or 5 lands on it? 5, I think, because we drew one as well. I mean, sure, I'll take it. Maybe I get to draw cards off of it. That could be something. I mean, what else are we supposed to do? This says target non-land permanents. Darn it. This says just a creature, though. Words matter on Magic cards. All right, let's go attacking. Ooh, they didn't even attempt to block. Okay, good to know. All right, I mean, we'll just keep doing the thing, I guess. I'm assuming their hands is full of counters or draw spells or something. All right, here comes the... Oh, it's an Ultima. Yeah, sure, we'll draw cards. Why not? Okay, Doran, you're going to have to hold this down by yourself, I guess. If you even resolve. That's going to be the first problem. There's a counter. Oh, yeah, I'll definitely pay for it. All right. Other side note, also notice that Doran does make things cheaper that have bigger toughness, which is important. So something to be aware of. All right, we need another Zach Fair. That's the card we want. Zach Fair would be money. That is not a Zach Fair. That is very disappointing. Doesn't matter anyway, though, because they're probably just going to Meringue River Regent some stuff. Like, it is what it is. All right, get in there. I'll play the other Overgrown Zealot. And we'll play the Llanowar Elf. And if they just have another sweeper, they have another sweeper. We found our spells, but it's too late. You have to be more aggressive. We unfortunately took forever to get there. What are we bouncing? Those two? Sure. Sounds like a plan. Target your Meringue River Regents. They would like to bounce it? Oh, they're going to negate it. Yeah, sure. I'm into it. Oh, look at this. How now, brown cow? Let's attack with this guy. As an 8/8. You love to see it. I don't think we need to do anything else, so I'm just going to pass. If they have a sweeper, they have a sweeper. If they don't, we maybe have a chance. All right, there it is. As I was going to say, we're not committing anything else to the battlefield there. Where's our big tortoise that lets us get lands or whatever? Where's that guy? You're the next best thing, I guess. All right, pass turn. Just have counters and lands, opponent. Really? You couldn't have just done us a solid? All right. If that's a counter, that's probably going to do it. We'll pay for the No More Lies, I guess. All right. Pass the turn. Yep. Consult to go get something else. Oh, geez. Fumigate, of all things. Like, this is silly. This is my... I still got to make that video at some point about sweepers. But you have, like, Jeskai Revelation, Day of Judgment, and Fumigate, and Ultima. Like, what are we doing? Come on, man. Like, for real, though? Alright. Are we getting back Doran? Or are we getting... Tortoise? Probably Doran. Though Tortoise does give us hexproof protection or whatever, but... And if you're wondering why I'm not playing the land, if I draw one of the creatures lets me discard a card to go search, I can just use the Overgrown Tomb. Oh my gosh, are you serious? Like, come on, man. Alright, well... I guess having a Tortoise wouldn't have mattered one way or the other. I was like, can I at least find the other Emeritus? That would be cool. All right. Are we finally dead? Okay. GG's. We can start moving on finally. Jeez. Come on. Ooh, mulligan this one. I guess we keep it. Of course, you know what? We'll go for it. I wasn't sure what I wanted to keep there, but I'm just going with the decision. Probably should have played Glade, though, tapped first. But this is okay, I suppose. Because really, playing the 0-4 would have been better in this scenario, but they could still have plenty of things that kill it just the same. Interesting thing, though, here. If they attack, I think I'm still attempting to block. Okay, they're using Strategic Betrayal for that. Love it. That could have been way worse for us. Count me in. And if they're going to 1-for-1 removal our stuff, we are all about it. So they get Tragic Trajectory this one? Yep. See, if your opponent's doing that, we can live in that world. Like, if your plan is just have to spend all those cards, great. I'm not even going to worry about our road. I'm going to go get one of our biggins. Well, let me make sure our mana's right. Okay. Because if we get an untapped land, we could Doran and Great Forest Druid. I don't know why I couldn't say that. Speaking of, there we go. So we go there. Into a Great Forest Druid. And then... do we attack? I think so. Yeah. Like, block or don't. I mean, they're playing blacks. There's probably a million cards that can kill the Doran, but if they do, they do. What are we doing? All right. You got it. I mean, I guess they were just doing a check to see if I was going to block with Doran or not, but I was not interested in that line of work, opponent. All right. Here's hoping we hold up. Or top deck a Tortoise or something the next turn. I don't know. All right. There's an only Annex, so we're going to lose some extra life. Yep, you got it. Backup Doran. All right, so if we attack, that's 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, yeah, so they have to block. Sure. I mean, we lose if they have another Bloodletter, but, like, so be it. I guess the Llanowar Elf didn't have to attack. That's my fault, but whatever. Another demon? Oh, they already have a demon. Yeah, so we just lose. Yeah, I had to play a block and leave a blocker back. All right, cool. GG's. Okay, we will try this. Hopefully some number of these 2 mana dudes survives. Or if not, this is going to hurt a whole lot. Fortunately, we found another land, which is good. So we could try to jam a Tortoise next turn. Great Hall. All right. I don't think it might be the second time I've ever seen that card on the battlefield. I think if the opponent leaves mana open, we're just going to try to play the 2 mana creatures and pass. If they play something, then we'll just go for Tortoise this turn. I think is the way it looks. Okay. Then we're going to test the counterspell situation. All right. I was thinking if they had something that made us pay like an extra 2 or whatever, that would have been the chance for him to use it. Because if we're going to have all these mana creatures, then those aren't going to be really meaningful. But it might just be like a blue spell that makes you bounce a thing. No. So they didn't counter. They didn't bounce anything. They didn't draw. They didn't use their map. What is your hand, opponent? Still not using the map. So now I feel like we're living up 3 steps ahead. Oh, this gets interesting. All right. Let's see your first counter. Because if it's just something that bounces stuff, then Tortoise gives us hexproof and it doesn't matter. Yep, it was 3 steps ahead. Fantastic. So now if we can get an untapped land, one of these should resolve next turn. Which one, I don't know, but one of them should. All right, I mean, they're living off the spell counters right now. So we're going to go with Doran for the moment. I mean, you can always bounce a Doran. All right, another 3 steps ahead. Sure. You got it. Actually, do I want to use Formidable Speaker? I don't think I do. I think I'm going to pass. Because there's a world where we go to cast Formidable Speaker, and then they might counter it, and then we could play Tortoise. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. Flow state. Probably going to go look for another counter. All right, you only have 1 blue mana right now, though. And they debated mapping, but opted not to. That's really interesting. All right, how do you feel about an Emeritus? That can get stuff back from our graveyard. Ooh, they're going to let us. All right, then you don't have to talk me into a Tortoise. All right, what else we doing? Flood pitch drown. Sure, you got it. Would you like to attack and then return our Emeritus? I mean, I'm assuming they're going to play like the cat to draw cards or something or whatever, right? At some point. But I guess that now is not that point. So it turns out Bedrock Tortoise is even better if one of those sticks if they're also playing Flood Pitch Drowner. All right, you have 1 blue. What are we worried about with 1 blue? Don't know, but we're way less worried about it now. What you got? Because if Tortoise sticks, we get to attack for a ton here. That's what, 16? All in one go. Alrighty then. I mean, you can't bounce any of our stuff. I mean, hey, those are blockers. Those count. All right, still 8 is solid. What else is fun is because our stuff has hexproof in our turns, even if they try to play the crab that taps your creatures, doesn't do anything. Yep, Siren, those will block and keep you alive. Flow states, I guess you could bounce a Tortoise. Yeah, it either has to be bounce a creature or play a blocker. One or the other. Or both. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else really they've got going on here that we're concerned about. Even if it's just like Feybloom trick again, alright. We're not going to be mad about it. Let's go attacking. I'm assuming we're going to make a couple more blockers. We are indeed. Yeah, Fade-Bloom Trick also says when you do, tap target creature and opponent controls. Tortoise is doing a lot of heavy lifting right now. I mean, take 8, take 4, doesn't matter to me. They look they're trying to hold on to a creature for some reason, instead of preventing extra damage. So knowing that, I'm just going to play a tapped Shrine and pass. Because it feels like we're going to be in a situation where they're going to try to like Aetherize or something and bounce our board. So there's not going to be much use for us putting other creatures on the battlefield. Like at this point, any amount of mana they spend that doesn't some combination of bounce or block a creature, we don't really care. Like they could draw the cards they want, whatever. Now, there are a bunch of blue cards that just could return everything to our hand. So those are in play or viable because they do have 6 mana. Oh, the fact they're even thinking about maps is a good sign for us. Oh, and not even using the map to draw? I thought they were going to sacrifice one. Yeah, I don't... Yeah, now we're at this stage. I think we're good. Yeah, now they're just sacking to draw to leave a creature tapped. But that doesn't really do anything. Yeah, like 12 still getting through. Great. Got there. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's one of those games that felt like it required a lot of patience. Like, you know, counter, counter, search, block, block, search, block, block. You know, it's just like, that's kind of all that was going on. But patience paid off. And we had a bunch of backups in case something would have happened. Because it's possible we didn't see it. You know, or at least now we know they're mono blue. But there's a point where they could have had some white mana they were waiting on or black mana to try to sweep the board or something. So having these as backups would have been pretty good. Man, you know what? These games were kind of interesting because there were some games where we didn't hardly see the removal spells at all. There were games where like that went fairly long that we never saw a green shell, stuff like that. So I don't know how really to judge this. I think the cards individually were all solid, and being able to get stuff back with the Emeritus or being able to find something with the speaker, all very helpful stuff. I just don't know what the right combination of things is to do here, because I sort of feel like maybe the deck just wants more Maelstrom Pulse, right? And maybe we just cut the Witherbloom Charms and we just go, okay, we're going to play in a road, we're going to play Maelstrom Pulses. But also, there's sometimes we didn't hit that much white mana, so having in a road early is not always great necessarily when you're trying to get like a turn 1 elf or a turn 2 mana creature. So there's a lot of little things if you were going to play this you'd have to be careful with. And then there's the other argument too. I think we could just cut green cell altogether and just play a couple of Delian Fel. Right? I think if you're in black-green, those cards are very good. Or we even have a way to produce enough white. Maybe you want to play an Elspeth. Like one Elspeth, one Delian Fel, and don't even bother with the green shells. I think those are both very reasonable cards that we could play, and it would be justified. Or if you just wanted to cut, like we're saying, the 2 Witherbloom Charms, 1 green shell, play an extra Maelstrom Pulse, and 1 of each of the Planeswalkers. I think we go that way too, and the deck would still be fine. We didn't really have mana troubles all that often. Maybe the one game where I think I kept a 1-lander, you know, but generally that was, if anything, we drew too much land a lot of the time, which is why it would have been nice to have the green shell so we could get those bonuses, but they just really didn't come up. But yeah, this was fun. Could you rank with it? Sure. I don't think you'd be ranking fast. I don't think you're going to go like 10-2 or anything like that. I mean, for me, it was 54%. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is, but it was fun. It was a good use of cards, and some new cards fit the list very well. But I'm going to make a couple of changes to the list that gets posted at the end on Moxfield. So it might not look exactly the same, but I'm going to try to incorporate a couple of those changes that we talked about. I'm probably going to play a few more games and then figure out what that's supposed to look like. But that's all I have for now. We'll see you next time.